All right, welcome guys to another episode of Old Reader, New Reader. Today we are reading Klaus by Grant Morrison with art by, is it Dan Mora? How do I say that?
I just said I think Dan Mora.
Dan Mora.
I'll go
Mora.
Yep,
with
sounds about
And
that.
of
right.
course, you've got me, Maddie, and we've got Amanda
Hey
and
guys.
our old reader, Omar.
That never sounds good. Okay, hi.
I know.
How's
But
everybody
not
doing?
in spirit.
I would like you all to know that I came prepared with my Christmas sweater, a
Nice.
Wonder Woman Christmas sweater. So
That is an awesome Christmas sweater,
thank you.
I have to say.
So, Klaus, as you may have guessed, is a comic about Santa Claus, but not just any Santa Claus,
No,
a
not any Santa
very
Claus.
sexy Santa Claus. We just need to go ahead and get it out there so you all know. This is a very attractive man, Klaus, just so everybody knows. So, basically, this movie reminds me a lot of a more hardcore version of one of those stop motion animation Christmas movies where Santa's like really young and he goes into the town to give toys, but the king of the land has banned toys from the whole town, right? And maybe
Oh
that
yeah.
sounds familiar to some of you at home. It's a lot. It's basically the same, if just with a little extra twist. So basically, Klaus is out living his own life in the woods in exile. And he returns to the city, and once he sees what's going on with some of the children, he goes to sleep that night and comes out, and he's made all these toys in the middle of the night, and he realizes he has some sort of magical connection. And the whole story is about him dealing with this and him helping the town, and you learn more about him and the town as you go along. That's my quick little summary before we go get in deep to everything. Um, so Amanda, what do you think?
What did I think? I
Yeah.
absolutely love this. And as I was telling them, I've just coming off a high of just watching the latest season of Last Kingdom. I'm really into Norse, Norwegian style fantasy epics and reimagining. Obviously, Santa Claus, his mythology is based a lot around Eastern European mythology and folklore. And so that's why I just was so excited to read this. And Klaus gives Kurt Russell a run for his money as sexy Santa Claus. If anyone saw the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, Kurt Russell doesn't mean old Santa Claus. He's pretty hot, but nothing compares to this Klaus. And I don't know why they haven't made this into a live action yet, because I think it would be fantastic. Even as like a short TV series, I think it'd be fantastic. I loved the story. I thought it was a really clever way of bringing a lot of different elements, sneakily bringing a lot of elements of the Santa Claus myth into it, from the toys and his magic sleigh, and there's little jokes in there. You see, oh God, what are some of the jokes? They talk about, what did one of the guys say that was so, oh, I came down the chimney. Sergeant Linkvist makes that joke. I came down the chimney. Like, they just all these wonderful little elements that just play into the whole Santa Claus myth that I found wonderful throughout the entire read. I thought the story was great. I liked all the side characters, even evil Lord Magnus. I enjoyed him immensely as an evil villain. He was like a bad Loki that will never be redeemed. Maybe it's just the greasy long black hair. I don't know. But yeah, it was a really great read, and by far the best way to kick off our December read.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a great holiday book because I don't know of many holiday comics.
Yeah.
I've got a few things, but it's mostly just like it's not like this, right? It's a standalone.
Yes.
It's but usually if I think holiday reading for comics, it's stuff like, collections of, one-off
Exactly.
comic book stories for already established characters in other realms. But this is so neat, and I'm big into the holidays. I'm big into Christmas, so I love things like this already. So I was really pumped to read it for the first time, and it was a great, awesome read. So Klaus is split into 7 parts. His
7
story.
parts.
It is mostly set in the town of Grimsvig. And so you've got Klaus, and you've got the town of Grimsvig, which is run by Magnus. And Magnus has a entitled son.
Jonas.
Yeah, named Jonas, who basically, I think from his father's doing is very spoiled and hates everything and wants new toys all the time, while all of the children in town don't get toys. They're not allowed to have anything like that. And we see more why as this goes on. Is married to, is it Dagmar, is her name?
Dagmar, yeah, Lady Dagmar.
And so Dagmar seems like a pretty reasonable woman while she's dating this, or not dating, she's married to this awful, 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 awful man. And she has an awful, awful, awful son. It kind of starts out, you're introduced to her son while he's throwing this big tantrum, and she presents him with a gift for the holiday. And it's a replica of the entire town. Mm-hmm. And he is just not pleased, and he wrecks the whole thing. And so you see this image within stark contrast to the city where, Klaus shows up and he sees this guard hit one of the kids around. And so he tries to stop it, right?
Yep, he tries to stop it.
And he gets all beaten up.
Yep.
And Omar's holding up the page, but we can't see it because your mic is off.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be part of the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
you two
we were waiting for you.
No, you two were on a roll. And
we didn't hear how sexy you thought Klaus was, though. That's what we all want to know.
I think if anybody knows me, they know damn well how hot I think Klaus is.
He's a good-looking
He's got that Conan look for him. No, you two are doing awesome. So I was gonna add my 2 cents later on. You two keep going. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then basically he goes to sleep, and when he wakes up, he's discovered he's carved all of these wooden toys in his sleep.
Yep. Because
so something's possessed him, and he's just...
I kept thinking of, like, those little things, and I was reading some interviews by Grant Morrison about this, and he kept saying aliens, and which they do. When I re-looked at it, I was like, oh, they do kind of look like aliens a little bit. But I kept thinking of the will of the wisps or whatever. Like, those are in a lot of folklore. And I was like, oh, they're like little elves. And
yeah,
that have imbued him with special abilities when he plays his flute and goes into some psychedelic state. He's powerful.
Basically.
Yes. He's like Geppetto on crack or something. Making all his toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's
that's part one. And then part two is where we start to see Klaus in action, right? So we get him in the dead of night with his bag of toys, and he uses snowballs to kind of attack the guards. And he does that graffiti on that poster of Lord Magnus, and he uses the rune for joy, which he uses throughout as his symbol, right? And joy obviously is a huge symbol of Christmas, as we all know. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Omar.
I got you.
Fam.
Fam.
Putting that up. Yeah. And so what he's doing is he's delivering all these toys he made to the children. And at the same time, we find out from Lord Magnus that the king is on his way, and he has this quota to meet for his coal mining. So there's all these little plot points that we start seeing. The king's on his way, so they have to prepare a feast, and we have this coal quota he needs to meet, so it has to be done. And we later learn, as we go along, why they have to get done with their coal quota. And so after the toys are delivered, then of course they round all the toys up and they give them all to Jonas. The toys don't work for Jonas because they're all magical, right? They have little birds that sing and fly, but they don't work for Jonas. He doesn't know why. And then his mother picks them up, and that's the first time you see someone recognize him, and she's like, looks at it and she's like, Klaus? And so you kind of see that. You start to see that he has some kind of backstory because you get it a little bit in the front book.
She picks up the bird, the toy,
yes,
right?
Books,
and
bird,
that's when she recognizes the handiwork when she goes to compare it.
And then they're trying to find him in the middle of the night, and that's where it introduced to Sergeant Linkvist, who's in charge. He's the captain of the guard, and the guys are sent out to go look for him, and he does the snowman. That's another one of his little like graffiti things, right? And I thought it was really funny because the guy's name is Olav. And I know this was written after Frozen came out, so I thought that was really, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was just really, yeah, his name is Olav, and he turned him into a snowman. I thought that was really cute. And I think that's pretty much how chapter 2 or part 2 goes. So we get to part 3. So Omar, you want to give us a break from talking and you go on a roll with part 3?
I can, yeah. So that's where you kind of learn the connection of Klaus and everybody else, and you get this. Now this is Grant Morrison. This trippy little page right here is what I'm used to seeing Grant Morrison style stuff. Because I will say that this is probably the most non-Grant Morrison book I have ever read in my life. Because if you're familiar with Grant Morrison, you get stuff like Doom Patrol Invisibles, like his Batman, and a lot of it sometimes I feel really stupid reading because I'm like, I guess Grant Morrison's really smart and I'm an idiot. But with this, it was just such a simple read that it was wonderful and a nice break from Grant Morrison. But
and
still,
Dan's art just makes it even easier to read.
It's beautiful.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so you get this beautiful artwork is what I wanted to mention that is very cartoony, but it makes sense for the story.
Yeah.
Because it kind of makes it seem like it's more Christmassy because of the art.
And it's a very high fantasy. It's very high fantasy too, so it makes sense that you don't want to ground it in too much realism as far as the artwork's concerned. You want it to make it seem that way.
Even the villains, what's his name? Dragmar?
Magnus.
Dagmar's his wife.
That's it, Dagmar. Sorry. Even they're cartoonish in a way. So not to be taken too seriously, I guess. Maybe that's the reason why he did it. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is the part I was talking about. This is in the next chapter where he meets her again, and you see you find out why he left, and how she blames him for killing her father. But there's more to it than just that.
Of course.
Because women can't let some dude explain what really happened.
Well, it wasn't just her. I mean, there were guards everywhere, and Magnus accusing him.
I think that's a stereotypical thing, though.
It
telling
is
stories.
Yeah.
So then you have this huge fight here towards the end, and I love that each chapter he starts looking more and more like the part, not just his beard, but his costume as well.
I like that scene too.
How he progressively gets, more Santa Clausy, I guess.
Yes,
I love it.
More red, in his outfits and his beard, and he really starts to take the form. He's hot. He's not our big fat jolly Santa Claus by any means.
Not that there's anything wrong with those guys either.
Anything wrong with that? I'm just saying. He's not there.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus was all about that. So then you get to the final 2 chapters, which is this pretty cool fight with this giant demon creature. Which is, of course, Krampus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we learned that, the whole reason... he's getting ready for the king to come.
Yes.
And so he rounds up the kids and puts them in a dungeon. And we find out the reason why he's been pushing to get so much coal, right? Is to get closer to or release or whatever this demon that he's been hearing. This is Magnus I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's been hearing these voices, and he's made this promise with the demon, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, well, I will sacrifice these children for you to eat because you're hungry. In exchange, you're going to make all the townspeople and my wife and child love me again.
Yes.
Which is not how that works.
Nope. Because that's how it is. Like, we see the flashback when he's watching Dagmar, a young Dagmar and a young Klaus, and they're having fun and they're playing together, and he's looking out from atop a tower window, and he's basically coveting her from afar and says he would do anything to make her his. And then you see that voice in that cool, different font and color saying anything. Dr. Faustus. Anyways, yeah, he's basically made a deal with the devil, and this devil likes to eat greedy little children, and that's kind of that's the main climax of our story that we have here.
And then that's where the fight is with Krampus, and something happens, and I guess this is another Grant Morrison thing. This sequence right here.
Oh, when he was laying in the ice and they
after
said,
the battle, yeah.
Yeah.
So
but that was an after. Oh, you mean when he was captured after they had taken him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's maybe I can see the whole the aliens thing in that in that picture. Maybe is that what he was talking about? I don't know. I've never read Grant Morrison's interview about this book, so it'd be kind of interesting to see his point. But then you get the Santa Claus page.
So cool.
Sleigh.
So badass.
It is awesome.
And I never thought I would say Santa Claus is badass. That's kind of weird. But then you get this amazing fight sequence too.
Yeah.
With Dan Moore's great artwork, and and the colorist too. Who is the colorist? So I don't got to give them credit too because it's beautiful.
Beautiful work.
It's beautiful artwork.
Oh, it's Dan Mora. He himself.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah, they were collaborating.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So he did everything but the lettering. So yes, Dan Mora, who is designing the new Buffy or drawing the new Buffy comic at Boom.
Yep, he's doing a new reboot, and it looks
great,
amazing. I'm so glad he's working on it. Buffy has needed some good artwork.
Yes.
Yeah, I love. Was it Gentry? That guy.
Yeah.
His art is pretty cool, but he's always had a hard time drawing real life people, like realistic.
Yeah,
people.
I think that's what that thing suffered from. So I think Dan Mora's style works for that because he can
fake it.
He can give that honor. He can honor the original look while still making it better artwork and more appropriate for the story and for the media.
Yeah.
So okay, and then we have this big, like I said, this big fight, and of course, the good guy wins.
Yes. And you have a lot of nice moments character-wise in the fights too, because you have Jonas, like as they're like, for instance, when they're running from Krampus, he basically says, "Take me instead. I'm the bad one," to sacrifice the children, even though Krampus would never just, "Oh yeah, I'll just take this one." He wants them all. And then you have Dagmar taking up arms against Krampus to fight for her son. You know, you have some really great stuff right there, and of course that awesome moment when it's not awesome, but it is in a way, because when Magnus runs his sword through Klaus, you think all is lost, and then he's like, "I've did this for you, now make them love me," and then he burns him alive.
Yeah, and Dagmar at the same time is like, "Nah, dog, this is all your fault. I'm out.
I'm never gonna
Me and my son are going. You can handle your own shit. Goodbye."
Oh, man. And then Klaus comes back and says, "I don't know why, but I cannot die. They did something to me in the Northern Lights. So let me finish this." It was, that was great.
So I remember when I read this in one day. I think it was last year or the year before, and then my wife read it the next day, and then my 8-year-old daughter read it after that, and we all loved it. So it kind of became a Christmas tradition here. I think I don't know, maybe I'm a weird father, but I think it's a book that could be for all ages.
No,
I don't think it's that graphic. Yeah. I mean, other than the decapitation of a demon, but I mean, it's demon. Only one way to get rid of them, unless you're Catholic. So yeah, we have that beautiful sequence at the end that I've been wanting to talk about, because I love the dancing, this part right here, this beautiful ending.
I love it too.
As you can see, he's not really getting that much older, but she is.
Yes, very fast rate. And you see the kids growing too, almost.
And they have their own kids too. But
that's crazy.
Here. But I mean, and it's Christmas, right? It's what it is, and then we get the conclusion. Final page right here, beautiful final page. I will say that I kind of wish he hadn't. I haven't read the other two stories after this, and I kind of wish he had just wrapped it up with this book because I thought it ended perfectly. I didn't think it needed anything else. But part of me is also like, man, I could use some more Klaus adventures this Christmas season.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the reason I read when I was reading an article from the more recent one he did, Christmas Adventure or something like that. He said the reason he was doing more and it's just at Christmas time is because he wants it to be like his Doctor Who, where he comes back with a Christmas special every year, and that's kind of his thing. Because he said there's different stories because you can see Klaus in different time periods and stuff like that because he is immortal in a sense, and so he can be through different time periods. And I think because I haven't read any of them yet, but I want to. The other ones take place in time periods, right? They don't necessarily take place in this time period.
I know nothing about them.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think they take place in different time periods. So
other than the fact that they're $25 for like 40 pages or something, and I'm like, I'll wait till there's a collection.
I put them on my wish list.
So I'll wait to read those. Maybe they'll make another collection, hopefully. But
that'd be nice.
I'm glad that they're still coming out with it, and the book itself has gotten pretty popular over the years. Because I don't remember hearing anything about this book when it first came out, and then I think last year was the first year I remember seeing people trying to find it. Because there were different versions. There was like Geo's in the chat. There was a limited, like a local comic book day one that had, I think it was gold is the rare one. This is silver. But the one at the local was it Free Comic Book Day or Local Comic Book Day, whatever one of those specials was. Yeah, it has like the gold trimming.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, but then again, retail's $40 on this, so that's a lot for 6 issues. But I don't know.
Honestly, it's beautiful. I'd pay that much for an art book, and if that was all it was. It'd be worth it.
Okay, then that's the way I see it too. Like I pay that much for some of these things, like art books. So, if anything, that's why I bought the Absolute Jim Lee Wildcats. That's the way I see it. That's the way my buddy Gio told me to see it. See it like you just bought an art book and you don't have to read it. So, good point. Good point. So, was there anything else you two wanted to mention about the book? Like, who would you cast as Klaus? There's an important question we haven't talked about. How have you not thought about this? I'm going to go with John Hamm. Maybe grow his beard out a little bit. No, he's not good looking enough, really.
No, I would go with Uhtred of Babenberg. That's who I would go with. Alexander Draymond.
Who?
Okay, the guy who played. I'm really on a Last Kingdom kick, guys. I'm sorry.
Apparently.
I would either go with. Okay, so there's a guy in it. The guy who plays Uhtred, his name is.
Said no.
Well, I looked at him and I was like,
I love him. Or Mark Rowley, who plays Finnan, which is his like Irishman. I mean, obviously he might have to.
Is this another guy from that show?
Yeah, he plays his I don't say his captain, but he's part of his crew of men.
Can those guys play off a man's man type of character?
I vote Idris Elba. Let's all be honest.
Okay.
The greatest man's man.
I didn't want to typecast.
Alive right now.
I didn't want to typecast, but you're right. I can't argue with that.
Oh man, that would be.
He kind of looked like him in the Thor Ragnarok movie too, like a cross between him and Bishop from the X-Men. He had those long dreads. But anyway, that's a good pick. Beats my John.
I
still think John Hamm is a
from The Office would be good.
No. What?
Who did you say?
No. Okay, now I'm looking at you like you looked at
but look, okay, his whole body composition is different now than it used to be also. He's doing those roles. What's his name? John Krasinski.
Yeah, but I don't think he can pull off that stern look that Klaus has. Like Jim has this. Like I try to watch that show, the Tom
Ryan, we know,
show, and he just can't do it. Like he can't pull off his. He can't not look like Jim from The Office, making those goofy faces, even in a serious movie.
We need a nice we need to have like a nice wide jaw.
Weekend Geekdom said Thorn and Hobbit, which is Richard Armitage. I could see that because that man is very attractive.
Oh yeah, that guy's good too.
That's Thorn Oakenshield, even if he's attractive. Yeah, Richard Armitage is very good looking.
You need rugged,
and he has. He looks rugged.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that this conversation might last longer than the review of the book, though. I can go on. I can go on. I know Amanda can go on about.
Well, now that you said the Hobbit, I'm like, honestly, a lot of those dwarves would be perfect.
He could do it. Yes. Maybe Feely. I don't know. Is he too boyish looking? Is it Feely's the one that?
Yes,
is Feely
that guy's
the one
too.
that?
No, he's not rugged enough. I know who you're talking about.
Okay,
That was,
the one. The one who fell in love with Evangeline Lilly's.
Yeah, no,
he was in
Tariel.
Sorry,
guys.
Maybe it's my. It's
I love Lord of the Rings.
Maybe it's my man crush on John Hamm. That's why I just wanted him because I love that guy.
I would like to see him in some comic book stuff.
Clive Owen, I love to have Clive
this,
Owen too. Clive Owen can
Clive
grow a beard.
Owen.
He's a man's man.
He was good in King Arthur. One of the few bright spots of that movie.
I forgot about that movie.
Oh, you did?
I forgot about that movie.
Came out in the height of like Keira Knightley's career. How could we all forget about that? And Ian Grofod, I can't pronounce his last name, but the guy who played Reed Richards in all the Fantastic Four movies.
Oh,
he played Lancelot in that.
Yeah, he was also in Titanic. Why do I know this? Like, I really like that guy too. What do I sound like?
But we all agree that this needs to be a
live action,
like a Netflix mini show or something.
Netflix can make this and do like this is something that I feel like Netflix would want to make.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they've got a Happy. This is sci-fi. Sci-fi's doing Happy, so I'm sure this is coming. Now, Happy's another Grant Morrison book that's not like Grant Morrison. That's more like a Garth Ennis type of book. But no, yeah, they could totally pull this off. They could just borrow the sets from Game of Thrones and just have at it after they're done with that show. Yeah, I'm glad you two liked it. So, what would you give it?
I give it 10 out of 10.
Out of 10.
All right, same here. 10 out of 10. Great holiday books. There were some other mentions in the chat of other books. Like
someone said Last Christmas?
Yeah, I haven't read that either.
Yeah. Dave said that. I've never heard of that either.
Oh, Multi Enthusiast said there's a Krampus series from Image. I haven't read that one either. Because I mean, most of the
imagine what that would be like.
Most of the comic book Christmas things I've read are from superheroes. You know, like Fantastic Four, X-Men. Those when I think of that. But this was, I think, is one of the first times I read a Christmas-based comic book. Like, that's pretty cool.
It was a wonderful read.
So 10 across the table. That happens ever so often.
It does. And I think it had a lot to do with the artwork and, of course, the writing. I think that just all played a good part. And I think Grant Morrison did a good job of taking all the best parts of the myth and putting it together in a really fun and engaging way that's brand new, nothing we've really, seen before. I think it was well done. He said, just look at the cover of Last Christmas and you'll want to buy it. Now I have to look up the cover of Last Christmas.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, it's, what's his name? The guy that wrote Deadpool for a while. Okay, that's pretty badass.
Hold on, I'm looking up too.
Ooh, Raymond said, how about Alexander Skarsgård? I could see it.
That'd be an interesting choice. Oh God, from True Blood.
Yeah,
he plays the Eric vampire. He's the other vampire. Eric, the one I always want her. Oh wow, The Last Christmas looks like intense.
He's got 2 guns. It's pretty.
2 guns.
Very American.
Are those zombies?
Yeah, it looks awesome. Honestly,
yeah, that does.
It kind of looks like the Deadpool story he couldn't tell in Deadpool. That's what it reminds. Even the art looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, are we done casting? Or are we just gonna cast him? What about the bad guy? Who'd you all cast without saying what's his name? Loki.
I know, because he looked just like him. I couldn't help it. Well, who would I cast as Lord Magnus?
I'd cast Jon Snow.
No, he can't play bad.
What? How? Then he's not an actor.
Well, I didn't say that Kit Harington was a great actor.
Well, I mean, what about I forget his name in Game of Thrones, but he's Simon in Misfits.
Oh, Bolton?
Yeah, Bolton.
Ramsey Bolton.
Ramsey, yeah. He'd be good. Although,
He's
man,
he's creepy. He's creepy
I
enough.
miss seeing him in
Gaunt.
non-creepy roles.
He can pull off creepy really good.
He really can.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some really gaunt like guys.
That evil guy from Charlie's Angels. Does he still look like that?
Crispin Glover.
Crispin
No,
Glover
no,
is
no.
creepy.
The
Yeah,
guy that would like cut their hair off and like
Mhm.
smell.
yeah, that's
like
Crispin
this.
Glover.
That's
Yeah,
Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, that's his name.
he's
Yeah,
a
that's his
weird
name.
guy in real life.
Crispin. He
Like
is a weird.
he's one of the guys that got kicked off David Letterman for almost taking his head off, like by trying to karate kick him. He's the
Whoa.
I'm sure anybody here, Philip and Raymond and those guys could tell you he's a weird dude. Yeah, I can see that. And he kind of still looks the same too. He still has that
He
young,
probably-
creepy vibe going for him.
Or that kid who plays the Flash. Well, he's a little young.
The guy who plays the Flash.
Yeah,
Barry.
In
Oh,
the-
you mean Grant Gustin? Or no, Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
Oh yeah, if you put some long hair on him,
He can do creepy.
yeah. he could pull it off.
Okay.
He has some high cheekbones.
I
Yeah.
could see that. I can
And
see
then what about Lady Dagmar? God, I was trying to think because she reminds me of.
I don't know.
the best
Back in
redhead
the day,
ever,
maybe.
Kristen Dunst. Duh. Thank you for laughing, because God, I couldn't. That was such a horrible casting in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, what's her name? Yeah, the actual redhead that was in Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 3. Bryce Dallas Howard. I just had a crush on her, so yes, her.
So you have.
I just think she's freaking gorgeous.
Oh, Dave said the guy from Split and X-Men, which is what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name. Not Hugh Dancy. That's the other one that didn't get really famous. James McAvoy.
Oh, Professor X.
Oh,
and,
Professor X.
what was
Yeah.
he was in.
I love him in
Shameless.
anything.
Shameless.
Yeah, he was in Shameless for a while. Yeah.
Oh wait, is there Shameless?
UK.
I was thinking of
the
TV
original
show.
version. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I never saw that. So,
He could play creepy. So yeah, that was Hulk Hogan.
should we talk
What?
about what we're reading next week?
Yeah, did you map that out while we were talking at the beginning there, Omar?
Yeah, I was trying to.
That's what
we're-
Omar was doing in real life, guys. He was just helping us out with the next read.
No, you two were
Slacking.
you two did such an amazing job. Just you
Thank
were throwing it out there, and you're just so full of knowledge. And I didn't know what to add, so I was like, look at the pretty pictures. So we are going to be doing, because of the Into the Spider-Verse movie that comes out next week,
Mhm.
we are going to be reading Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, we're going to try to tackle the content of the omnibus, so it's about 40 issues. And this is the stuff after, spoilers, the death of Ultimate Peter Parker. And it's the story of Miles and how he deals with the powers of becoming Spider-Man. Now, I have already told these two ladies that I think very little is going to be borrowed from this, but they still wanted to read it. So, hey, it gives me a chance to reread it.
Well, I think if for nothing else,
Oh
we'll
my
get
God, this is the first Bendis book you all get to read, and it's actually good. I like that. I actually like it. So spoilers there. I like it. I'm sorry. You were saying, Amanda?
No, I was just saying. I think it will be a good introduction as far as how he got his powers. I don't know how much they'll take, but I think it might be similar. But there are some similarities because I started reading volume 1, and right in the beginning, they're talking about. Well, we'll talk about it next week, I guess. But he goes to a charter school, and in one of the more recent trailers that just came out, it's showing him listening and singing along to Post Malone, and he's going by his old school, and they're like, "Oh, we miss you, man, we miss you," and because he's going to his new school, so they're going to take elements from his origin story. So I think it'd be important for us to read that.
Yes, it
And of course,
is,
we
it
know
is.
they took the character of Is it Gonki? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Oh, his
old
friend?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much what they made Ned in
Leeds.
Homecoming. Yeah.
Now, J Rocks is right. Everybody that
J-Rox.
owns this is afraid to actually read it, because this is the one with the terrible binding.
Oh.
As in like people's some of them. Mine, I've been lucky. I've done Reddit one time, but this will be my second read through, so I hope it holds. But the binding starts coming apart down here. Nothing a little the book glue won't fix, but it's just a damn shame that for a book that retails at $125, they didn't give it the proper quality control.
Wow.
But it happens with these books sometimes. That this is one unfortunately it's one that oh God, Sarah Pacelli drew. Oh, she's one of my favorite artists.
Is it because they're just trying to get it out, so they were trying to?
It depends on where it was made. Sometimes these things are made overseas and quality control over there isn't the greatest. It depends on who the person is behind the project.
Okay.
Like rest assured, all the X-Men books and most of the Silver Age stuff that gets a lot of TLC from Marvel.
Well,
I don't know.
good.
I don't know much about the DC stuff because I don't collect Silver and Golden Age omnibuses from them. But the Marvel stuff usually gets a lot of TLC. Like they don't let just things slip out. Especially Corey, the guy that edits the X-Men books. He is phenomenal. Anytime he works on a book, I will buy it. But yeah, this one's just one of the unfortunate ones. But hopefully mine will hold for this read-through. Make it worth it. So that is what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, December 11th.
Yep.
Correct?
That's right.
Correct, right? Nobody has any Christmas dinners or anything that day?
Nope.
Right?
Right. Wait.
That's what I'm asking.
That was because I'm driving up to Cincinnati for the KSAE holiday party.
What hotel are you staying at?
Cincinnati.
So you can tell everybody.
No, I'm not gonna tell everyone where I'm staying. Sorry.
Patreon. Anyway, what's so you?
If I could,
we could do it on the 12th or the 13th. It's up to you all.
I could do it on the 12th, but if we,
I can do it on the 13th after Omnibros, and it gives us a little bit extra time to read.
Oh, but we have to go see Spider-Man.
Well,
that's
the question.
That's right.
Are we still seeing it on Thursday, or are we gonna? What was your?
No, let's see if we can see it on Thursday. So let's. Can we do it on Wednesday then, or are you all busy on Wednesday?
I don't have anything on Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesdays are good with me.
Is that okay with our viewers? Can we move it to next Wednesday?
Sorry, holiday parties abound. That's the last week, and then I get a break from work. Literally, I could take a break. We close down like pretty much the last week of Christmas. It's very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so do we.
So the Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales run, we're going to talk about that on December the 12th instead of the 11th. So that is Wednesday, December the 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In case, okay, Make Havoc said it was okay. We're good to go with it then.
Yep. So did Charlie.
Done.
Yep. Everyone gave it a
yes. Yep. Charlie gave us a thumbs up, so we're good. We're good. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Unfortunately, if you're not watching this live, then you can still comment down below if that's okay with you or not.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject, so we've got those two mapped out, and then we were talking about reading Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then taking a break after Crisis on Infinite Earths in between that and Infinite Crisis. Can we get some suggestions from the chat as to what to read next after Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because the book that we read, so if we do Miles Morales on the 12th and then Crisis on Infinite Earths on the 18th, Tuesday the 18th, the next book is actually on Christmas Day, which is the 25th. But I don't know if y'all want to do a live show on Christmas Day.
That week
I think we might have to make that Wednesday, the 26th, or whenever the 26th is. I'm gonna lose track so hard. Wednesday, if we were to do that.
By default, yeah, that would make it Wednesday.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can schedule that out. But what book should we read for that? Like, can we get some suggestions from the chat what to read after this? Let's give them a few minutes as long as there's.
Yeah. Oh,
Philip. I think Philip works on the weekend. That's why. So speaking of the weekend show.
Yeah.
Actually, Philip.
Philip, we're good. Sorry. You want to tell him, Omar? Or should I tell him?
Nashville Instant Annihilation.
Nope. That's your baby, Amanda.
So instead of doing a pre-recorded Reels talk like we always do on Saturdays that come out on Saturdays, we're actually going to be doing a live show noon on Saturday. All three of us will be present to talk about the 3 major Marvel movies coming out in 2019 that are MCU. Obviously, we know there's speculation about the X-Men properties that still may be coming out and things like that. But we're focusing on Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, maybe Annihilation, maybe not. We'll find out Friday according to sources. And then Spider-Man Far From Home, because those are the 3 confirmed we know are for sure coming out in 2019. And we're also possibly we already got the Captain Marvel trailer. We'll talk about that during the live show, what our thoughts are. We might be getting an Avengers 4. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but because of George H.W. Bush's funeral is tomorrow, they pushed it back. And then they're still saying Spider-Man Far From Home may come out on Saturday, but because I guess Sony does the marketing for that, not necessarily Disney/Marvel. So we'll see if they keep with that schedule and go from there. But regardless, we're going to talk about those 3 shows, and we'd love for you guys to join us on them and just give us your thoughts, what your theories are about what's going to happen in them and what's going to take place, and what do you hope to see from them. And we'll talk about the direction of the MCU because definitely the last 2 movies, Avengers 4 and Spider-Man Far From Home, they will set the tone and direction for what we imagine to be the future of the MCU in the next phase. So that's it. That's what we're doing on Saturday.
What time is that?
Noon, Eastern Standard Time.
I thought it was 11. Okay, noon Eastern Standard Time.
11, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot, you're right. It is 11 because we got birthday party. 11 Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Maddie, I love that. Okay, so that's 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. We're going to do a Reels Talk Live talking about the 3 Marvel movies that are coming out in 2019 and what our expectations are. Just to give you a quick summary of what Amanda just said.
Yes.
Maddie, I love, like a good mother, how fast you picked up your cat when she was showing her butt to the
She's showing her butt to your butt. Robin, listen. Not appropriate.
Ooh.
So yeah, we've got some recommendations in the chat.
Yes, we do.
All right,
we've got
Nash Villain said Annihilation. We do want to do that eventually.
We do want to do that, but aren't we going to do the whole Cosmic Saga?
Well, we'll have to do something similar.
Split it up.
Yeah, I would love to, and I think we should do that. We'll have to split it up. So read something in between, and we'll get I think Jess wants to. I asked him, and he said he would like to do that with us because that was his, like, at the beginning of the year, start to read, like in February or something like that.
Okay.
So we can get the Omni Dog to join us for those.
Okay. Multi-enthusiast said Aquaman, and we did read New 52.
Mm-hmm.
We did read that Aquaman recently, which looks like they take a lot of cues from it based off of the trailer and what we read.
And we could always read Peter David's.
Yeah, we could always read that as well.
Keep going. What else we got?
Slotlock said Flex Mentalo.
Flex Mentalo is another Grant Morrison mini.
Okay.
Oh, that would actually Joe the Barbarian would be a good one too. That's another Grant Morrison. It's really short as well.
J-Rock said Fables, which would give me an excuse to read the Fables you bought me for Christmas 2 years ago.
Fables will take a while.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
150 issues of Fables, and I mean we could
do like.
Make Havoc said Uncanny X-Force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trish said more Spider-Man.
Right on, Trish. I'm all for that.
Right after our Spider-Man read.
Mark Waid's Fantastic Four.
Oh my God, I would love to do that. That
yeah,
omnibus
I love Fantastic Four.
Well, the omnibus just dropped today.
I've never read any Fantastic Four besides like what's in Hickman. So
that's a really good recommendation, actually. Let me think about that. That's about 40-something issues as well. And I mean, what else is there to do besides spend time with family on Christmas?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Uncanny X-Men, V for Vendetta, Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, which I would love to read Swamp Thing.
When does the TV show come out?
Sometime next year, and the Absolute comes out next year.
You want to read some Young Justice since it premieres January 4th, right? Isn't that when it premieres? on
Yeah,
DC Universe.
you mean like some classic Peter David stuff? None of that new
Yeah,
Bendis
not
stuff, right?
the new Bendis stuff. Yeah.
Man, Superboy looks so cool though. Some of the art
Oh.
got released, and I'm like, damn, Connor. Ugh.
What's the Planetary Omni?
Planetary is another Warren Ellis series. It's wonderful. The Omni Bros and
Okay.
I read that probably about 6-7 months ago, sometime in the summertime. It's great if you've never read it. It's I think to appreciate it more though,
Yeah.
you have to read a little more comics. Not that you two would not appreciate it, but it's just so cool what he does because he takes every comic book trope and just puts it into one big story. And he does
Yeah.
it so damn well that you forget that everything that he's using is being borrowed from something else because it's so good. So obviously, I really like it.
Let's see. Loki Omni.
Yeah, Loki has what is it called? What was the Journey into Mystery? That was the Kieran Gillen run. So that's a good run too.
Um,
New 52 Wonder Woman. Have we
Philip
read
said
Wonder
New
Woman?
52
We have
Wonder
not
Woman.
touched Wonder Woman.
I would like to read some Wonder Woman. I mean, I have
Okay.
a bunch.
You do. Do you have all the
I
New
think,
52 stuff?
yeah.
Man.
I honestly feel like a good Wonder Woman story would just be the that Rekka run because they're releasing Volume 3
Yeah,
soon enough,
finally.
or they solicited it.
That's okay. It'll be
And
canceled.
this is fantastic story.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Smotlock. It's wonderful. Okay. So that's another vote for Wonder Woman. Man, this is tough because I really want to read the wait, and I wanted to take a break from
The
DC.
DC, since we're gonna be doing. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Oh, Born Again. We just read Daredevil.
Yes, but I do want Born Again. I want some.
I did promise my buddy Tyler Chu that I would mix in more X titles in here too. So that's my New Year's resolution. I told him I would
More
put
X
I would put
titles?
in more
Because we only have
X-Men.
done one, right?
Yeah, and I'm like the X-Men guy, so
You
I'm
love
like,
X-Men.
I don't
You
know
told me
why
you've had
I
to
haven't
take
chosen.
over Kevin Feige's mind to make you in charge of the X-Men with Chris
We don't have
Claremont.
to. We don't have to. That's our
Oh,
private
okay.
conversation, Amanda. What are you doing? You're embarrassing me.
Sorry.
Okay,
I
Nash
am
Valens
about
is
the Fantastic Four, though.
really pushing FF by
Yeah.
Wade, which
I love Hickman's Fantastic Four, so I would love to read Wade's.
that's probably okay. Kyle Yost, X-Force. Philip, I think in order to enjoy that, I would really love to read Messiah Complex. God, I'm such a freaking completist, though. In order to enjoy Messiah Complex, you got to read 35 years of X-Men. Okay, let me think. I think, oh yeah, Why the Last Man is on our.
Oh, I would like to read. Yeah.
It's on our to-do list.
Yeah, my husband has all those.
Booster.
Right now.
I should have known who that was.
I have
Amanda...
not read John Burns. No, I've only ever read the Hickman. I'm looking at it right now. Oh yeah.
All right, well, let's take a vote between us. What do y'all want? You two ladies go first. Out of all the things that have been said, what do you want?
I say Fantastic Four.
Okay, Maddie.
And whichever one you want.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I really want to read Swamp Thing.
Okay, so
but
we got.
I would be down to read Fantastic Four by Wade. I think that'd be a nice read.
Chat.
Okay.
I keep looking at the chat like they're gonna give me an answer, like just looking at it.
And that's 2-1, so you don't even need my vote. So FF it is. Fantastic Four by Wade. That'll be done sometime to be announced because we don't know what that week of Christmas is going to be like. So, does Nash Villains win anything per suggestion? That's a good thing. He should win something.
My love.
Maddie's love, which is going pretty high these days.
Yeah.
So there you go. And my admiration, which goes really cheap.
Elliot said a nice read.
Oh, Elliot, back with the puns. We've missed
spoilers. Nobody knows Mr. Fantastic's real identity. Oh yeah, so Wade's FF. Good. That's a good read. I haven't read that in years. It's probably been over a decade since I last read it, so I'm excited to read that. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. Was there anything else you ladies wanted to add? Anything else from the chat? Any questions from the chat before we bounce out of here?
Yeah.
What was another? No, we already announced the what's it called, right? The Saturday
Yeah, that's a Saturday.
Yeah.
comic book
Yep.
movie talk. It's gonna be a live show, so you fine people should join us, unless
Yep.
you're named Philip Evans, and you can't.
Yes, and we're
That
sorry,
sucks.
Philip.
Oh,
But
Alpha Man.
if you watch later, Philip, and comment, I will be sure to reply back to you and let you know if I agree with you or not on your theories, depending what they are.
Amanda does not hide from sharing her opinions.
Not about
Man,
those movies.
Smotlock is like right up my alley. They're commenting on Swamp Thing by
Yeah.
Moore, Alpha Flight by John Byrne. That's a classic run. X-Men Grand Design is wonderful.
One day you'll let us know. You'll show us why you love the X-Men as much as you do.
I'm sorry that one volume of God Loves Man Kills didn't show you
No, it's
why.
good. I mean, but like more so.
You know,
You
that's
never have enough.
one of my favorite things to do is go back and reread those. And before these wonderful collected editions that have made things so much easier, and before this digital age, I would literally take out my comic books that I own and read them in the chronological order, and including the spin-off titles, the miniseries. That's why I could work for Marvel and map out their omnibuses and epic collections when it comes to X-Men, because that's what I would do. Like I did that so many years. Like even during the time that I had a hiatus from reading comic books, and sometimes it would take me like 4 or 5 months, and
Yeah.
sometimes it would take me a year or so. Because I think you saw that, didn't you, Maddie? Somebody in the group recently read every single issue of Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, and it took them. I think it was about a year. Is how long they took them. And of course, it gets harder, right? Because you get older, and
Yeah, you got
you
kids.
got you got responsibilities. You can't read and drive anymore because your insurance will go up, stuff like that. So
We could do that before.
shit, Melanie used to get on me for driving like that. I was like, I gotta finish this issue. I gotta find out what happens to New X-Men later.
That's how Corey is right now with his Bear Grylls episodes.
That was dumb. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I know exactly. I didn't do you either.
Manhattan Project's all this Marvel stuff. Hickman's been solid. East of West, I think, is probably one of my favorite books he's done. And his FF was solid. We did do an episode where we talked about his Avengers run too. It was a two-parter.
Yes, we did. Two-part
That
episode.
with Omnidog joined us for that.
Let's talk about a complicated
Maddie
plot.
loved that.
Yes, she did.
I never want to read that ever again.
And I read it twice.
How are you still on Fangirls Assemble with that attitude?
I know. It's just amazing Free hasn't murdered me. We'll see how I like other Hickman stories, but I'm good without that one. It was fine. I learned some stuff. There's some good points, but
I learned some stuff. Yeah.
I'd rather Annihilation's way better than that. I think we can all agree. So I think I'm good.
I cannot wait until we read Annihilation. Jess has never read it, and Amanda's never read it, so it could be old readers, new readers.
Good.
Yeah.
So I can't
I
wait.
could spend a good 15, 20 minutes just talking about how good Rich Rider
is.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And I could talk about his glory days with the New Warriors, and then Philip can join in on that because I know he loves the New Warriors. So, did we do Batman White Knight? No, I think Batman White Knight is on our radar for next year.
It is,
I think there's other classic Batman stories I was kind of gonna run by with the ladies.
Yeah,
because we were gonna do
long one, right?
Yeah, we've only done one Batman story, so I figured we'd do something like year 2, the classic year 2. No, I'm just kidding.
And next year,
I love
I
year
would like
2.
to do some more I like everything we've read so far, but it would be nice to pick up some more female superhero stories also.
Yeah.
Because we've done a lot heavy the other way.
So let's see. Female superheroes. Nope. I don't have anything. What do you got in mind? I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
They're all too busy doing
You
their
know
hair.
we gotta read Ms. Marvel.
The sad thing is, a lot of these things I was suggesting to Amanda are fucking out of print. Like I was like, we gotta read
Yeah.
Gail Simone's Birds of Prey. Oh, out of print. We
Oh,
can't
when I was
finish it.
asking for my
We-
wish list to give Corey for
Right,
what I want
well-
for
Man,
Christmas.
if we could read that digitally or something, because I would really like to pick that up, because
Could
I've
read
read
some
a lot of the newer
Queens.
Birds of Prey.
I know it's not Superman Piers, but
Well,
No,
is
Rat Queen's
done?
is solid. What's that? No,
Is
it's
Rat
still
Queen-
it's still ongoing. It's still ongoing.
oh, it is.
I mean, there's always Red Sonja. Just saying.
It's
Gail
true.
Simone's Red Sonja.
Did you
really
put on your
my life.
Instagram story? You're like, I could just watch this unboxing video forever.
I want that damn figure so bad. It's all I
She had
can
put it
think
on her
about.
Instagram story. She was
I
serious.
did pick up. I picked up this.
Is that the Dynamite run?
Well, it's just like it's a small story. It's written by Frank Cho. It was okay. It wasn't great.
Oh,
the
Frank Cho
cover-
can't write, but he can draw.
The cover was great, and I was
Look at
just
those
like,
legs.
"Oh my god!" I know. I'm so in love. I just want to read more and more and more of Red Sonja. That's all I've been doing.
Smotlock, I recommended Lazarus to Amanda, but unfortunately that's on hiatus, so it's not finished yet. And I want to do an old reader, new reader on that because it is probably, I don't know, that or Gotham Central as my favorite Greg Rucka books, and then Wonder Woman. He just about anything that man has done, I enjoy.
Yeah.
Even his ridiculous Cyclops mini or ongoing series that he did was okay.
Multi-enthusiast asked, "What's a good Fantastic Four starting point?"
As a matter of fact, I think the Wade run is a really good starting point because he adds old characters that show up, but he does a really good way of reintroducing them so that new readers that don't know the characters are immediately like, oh, that's what this guy does. Got it. I think Mark Waid has always been really good at that. And that instead of just throwing you like you're bogged down by a bunch of history, I think he does a really good job of cleaning that up and adding new elements, especially to that Doctor Doom storyline. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that.
Oh, I love Doctor Doom. Okay, anyway.
Domino by Gail Simone has been solid so far. I really like it too. I wish she would do Deadpool again. Like that was one of my favorite Deadpool runs was Gail Simone's run.
Yeah, I really like her writing.
Okay, so you were talking about female superheroes. So we got Wonder Woman. We got a Captain Marvel omnibus coming out next year.
I'd like to
Someone
read more of
suggested
that.
She-Hulk.
I love to read more She-Hulk.
Me too.
She-Hulk is good. Dan Slott, John Byrne's run is amazing. Dan Slott's run is one of those runs that I
You always
pick
say
up.
it's hit or miss with him, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things that I keep reading because I feel like I have to read it, and I seriously take about 6 months or a year between trades. It's just one of those books like, hey, I'm not reading anything now. Oh, there's this Dan Slott thing I never finished. But I know people
There's
really
a lot
love
of really good Marvel.
Squirrel Girl, Spider Gwen.
All New Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I love that series.
That's fantastic.
I'm waiting for
I've heard really good things about
hoping.
some Black Widow runs.
Okay.
Greg Rucka had a good run of.
There's an Elektra run that's really good. I thought maybe I had a copy, but I don't.
The Elektra, that Greg Rucka, yeah, that one as well. That one was good too.
Maybe some Supergirl or Power Girl, because I haven't read any Power Girl.
Oh
There's
shit!
anything
yeah, I could just Power Girl.
Peter David's Supergirl is up there as one of my favorite comic books, and another one that fucking DC has left on hiatus too. That's the hard thing. Is like some of these books you can start off, but if you want to find out more, they are neither collected in digital format or in trade paperback because I don't know. I don't know if they don't sell or
what about Dark Phoenix? Because you recommended that on my wish list.
That's just one of the greatest X-Men stories ever. That's why. I mean, as
far
as like,
you put Kick-Ass woman.
well, definitely a kick-ass woman, of course, because it's
Yes.
fucking Dark Phoenix. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Phoenix and then Dark Phoenix. So of course, yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Smotlog. Byrne does really write good, strong women. Because I love what he did with the Invisible Woman too. That
I've never read any Burns, so I'd like to.
Neither have I.
Ooh, Catwoman by Brubaker.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Can we?
Yes, that'd be awesome. I'd love to read something like that.
Yeah.
No, we can't because it's Nash Villains and he already got his prize. So
No.
Sorry,
Down
but
the road, Nashville is down the road. We'll give it to you
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
but if someone else were to recommend, no, yeah, actually, that's a really good suggestion. I like to read. Let me see. There, unfortunately, my time in comics growing up in the '80s and in early '90s, the women superhero comics
Yeah.
were either a miniseries or got canceled, right? Like,
Yeah.
with the exception of Wonder Woman.
I wonder if
Yeah,
that's because they were drawn and written so offensively. I go
well,
back and read stuff now, and I'm like, boobs don't do that, you
but
guys.
but
Like, what are
but
you doing?
you got to think what the target audience was, though.
Oh,
You
that's
had
true.
No,
you
for
had
sure. I mean, and
high
it's
school
very
boys.
interesting to watch how much that's changed.
I will tell you something about. There is a particular panel, and I can even point it out, and I can tell you the issue um, of Uncanny X-Men that as a young boy that John Byrne drew. It was an issue with Storm where Sauron is pulling her out of the water, and the curves that he gave her, curves that he gave that woman, I was like, okay, apparently I'm an ass man, and I'm only 8 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I will never forget that panel or that moment that I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh wow.
The target
I
was
think
Omar.
everybody has that moment, though, for sure.
Mine
You
was
know?
Uncanny
Everyone has
X-Men, John Byrne. So, despite of how people feel about him, because he is a dickhead, man, could he draw some kick-ass curvy women. Woo.
I do want to
Um,
read his Wonder Woman real bad.
his Wonder Woman was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
It just looks so nice in that big collected format.
the big
Yeah, I love it.
the oversized
Yeah.
hardcovers. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
nice. They're nice. Oh yeah, see, Smotlock knows what's up. He also drew Aurora in Alpha Flight, and Aurora was crazy too. Remember? So, never mind. Anyway,
Yes, small locks. He's on a roll tonight too.
what was I got? The swimsuit issues. Oh, the swimsuit. Of course, they knew their target audience. Every boy had that picture of Psylocke hanging up in his Jim Lee Psylocke hanging up in his door. What they did with that picture, I don't know. But anyway, the
Duh.
picture of Psylocke. Everybody in the chat. There's an issue 8 of X-Men where Psylocke comes out of the water where she's in her bathing suit. Man, I must have redrawn that picture like 85 times as a kid, trying to mimic Jim Lee style. But yeah, that Marvel back then in the 90s, like the mid 90s, had swimsuit issues, kind of like the Sports
They're trying to
Illustrated.
make money. They were going bankrupt.
That sounds cool, though. Like, I understand why it's more
But
difficult
there were
to do
men
now.
too. There were men
But
too.
I like that kind of stuff. Like, manga does that stuff all the time. It's incredibly successful. Like, that
Yeah,
kind of
it is.
redraw in, like, pinup style. Like, that would be great as variant covers. Give me, like, in the spring, like, pick 1 month and give us just some, like, fun swimsuit covers for stuff. I'd be cool with that. Because it also gives me more cosplay options.
That's cool. That's a good
So
idea.
that's always
Oh,
nice.
right. And you go to that one cosplay event that's just swimsuits, right?
Yeah, Colossal.
I want to
Con.
go so much to that.
It's
Like,
so fun. Just cosplay swimsuits and then hot tub bars. It's amazing. Though no one recognized my Blue Beetle costume last year.
well, you were a femme swimsuit.
I was a femme swimsuit Tim Cord, you know?
It's awesome.
Oh, that's right. Image also did the swimsuit thing. So I really remember those. But I think but back to what I was saying about the women in comics, the ones that stood out to me where Wonder Woman, when William Messner Loebs was writing it, and that was during the time. Now his run doesn't get a lot of love, but I think it's damn good. And of course George Perez, because he's another one of those really great artists.
Mm-hmm.
But it was lost my train of thought. What the hell was that female comic book I was going to talk about that I really enjoyed? Shit! Started thinking about George Perez's Storm too.
Well, anyone in the chat know what he might have been on point with?
Probably not. I don't know what the hell my point was. Yeah,
Okay.
women comic books.
Women
yes.
in comics.
They
In the 90s.
they knew their target audience were kids like
Yeah, they sure
me.
did.
So now
It's
you
true.
know that has shifted, which is good. That's great. Now now women are drawn more like real. Well, sorry, some women in comics are
Yeah,
drawn
not
more like
all.
real women. Not all. Just like most men in comic books don't look like real men.
Well, I
Yeah.
think there's just a better variety now, and things are written better. So those women who do own their sexuality, they're given writers who can actually do that justice. Something that's
Yeah.
more appropriate to the woman themselves and not for like a certain gaze. So like, not to keep going to Red Sonja, but I'm just gonna. That's
Just
my
gonna
thing
keep
right
it on
now.
there.
Sorry, guys, but like reading a lot of Red Sonja, more recent stuff. I mean, she's still wearing the same outfit, but she's drawn different. Like the way that she moves and does things is more natural.
Not that
And
Frank
like,
Cho one that you showed?
well,
Oh, come on, Maddie.
I just love it. It's so good.
They can still put that eye
Actually, I mean, I
candy
think
out
that's a
there.
natural looking body though. And he honestly, when he does poses like this, he does do him justice. He's not the best poster boy for that, obviously. But as far as like
He's known for
that
two
Wonder
things.
Woman issue and then this issue, it's a very nice, strong looking pose. It's not like this, weird contortionist where they can't actually get their body that way. Like this makes sense. But anyways, like, you have characters like this that own their sexuality and it's a natural thing. It's not this weird, forced, gross
Trying to
thing where
be
you read it and you're like,
sexy.
nobody does this ever. Instead you have like Red Sonja who's like, hey, my bed's cold. Do you want to join it? And the guy's like, no. You smell because you're a barbarian and you're outside and you don't shower. No one wants to be near you, even though you're like a knockout, obviously.
That was in Gail
So
Simone's
good.
run?
Yeah.
I've only read the first few issues of her stuff. And
Oh,
then
I've
I
got
read
them all. You can borrow.
was there a Spider-Man crossover too?
Yeah, and I haven't read that. I'm very interested to see how that works.
I just remember
That would be interesting.
Oh my god, that was a long time ago because Michael Turner did the cover, and he's been dead for 10 years now.
Well, they've had more than one crossover between them, which is really interesting that that's like a crossover
Yeah.
that happens often. I don't know. And there's a crossover I want to read with her and like Vampirella and some other, like maybe Witchblade or something.
And she did the crossover with Wonder Woman, right?
No.
Oh wait, that was in my head. My bad.
I wish. Oh my god. Well, okay, here's the thing. Wonder Woman and Conan have a crossover.
That was it. It was a Conan. So I'm not
And
just.
Sonya has one with Conan, obviously, because the same universe. And she has one with Tarzan. Where's my Wonder Woman Red Sonja? I didn't ask for her and Conan, okay?
I forgot about the movie too with Bridget Nielsen. She played
We
Red
all
Sonja.
did.
And Arnold was in that too, but he didn't play Conan because they didn't have the rights to Conan. So he played a Conan-like character.
That movie's not real.
So yes, Klaus, 10 out of 10.
Klaus. 10 out of
For those
10. That's
who
what we
missed
were
it.
talking about.
Sorry.
That's what we've been talking about for the last half
Very
hour.
good. Woohoo!
All right. Any last words, ladies?
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget, you have content come out tomorrow, Omar?
I guess I do now.
Just take a shot. Well, we definitely have content coming.
I'm doing my monthly haul tomorrow. My monthly haul will be out tomorrow.
So Omar's doing a monthly haul tomorrow. Thursday is our panel episode. We're doing a episode on Netflix animation shows on Netflix for animation, and then of course we have our live show for Reels Talk on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just make sure to check us all out there.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Cool. Is that it?
That's it.
Now that's it. You want to sign us off?
Stay minty, my friends.
Stay minty, my friends.